Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Versus the Podcast. We've been gone for a minute. We had some technical difficulties, but we back.
We back, baby.
We back. On the screen, you see my guy, Coach Mike. Peace, King.
Peace, King.
How you been, man?
Man, it's good to see you.
That's everything as well.
Look, man. No more. Hey, Beijing, man. It's all natural.
Last time he had that Beijing, he'll walk around here looking like that. Fat Joe there with the and DJ Khaled there with the black.
Listen, I just didn't want to get on here one day. You have a split screen between me and Carlos Boozer.
Y'all know he really look like Donnie McClurkin. We fall down.
You're a mess. You are a mess. I'm trying.
So how is everything going?
Everything's good, man. You know, the summer's in full swing. Well, I should say the spring is in full swing. Listen, Friday and Saturday didn't feel like spring no more, man. It felt like we were back in winter. But, yeah, boy, Long John shirt, the whole 9 yards. Saturday morning, I came back in. We had a tournament down in Spartanburg. I came back in and got my big coat.
Oh, yeah. I don't know nothing about Long Johns.
They don't know nothing about that.
I had to break out the goddamn Long Johns.
Boy, they don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about that. And listen, us being us Northerners understand.
Yes.
That was part of your daily wardrobe in order to get to school on time.
Insulation. Listen, before we get into this, we got high school championships just finished, and we want to give a special, incredible season. A special shout out to Coach Richie Stevens and the Blue Ridge Tigers.
Yeah, man. Congratulations, guys.
First championship in school history.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Let me see if I got some applause here.
Yeah, you got some applause music. You got some good applause music there.
Okay, good. We're going to get some applause because Justin Bailey, who won a lot of postseason accolades. If I'm not mistaken, he was Player of the Year for the region.
Yes, he was.
Justin Bailey. I use him as an example. Now the AAU season has started. I'm teaching my younger kids how to shoot the mid-range.
Yeah.
And how important the mid-range is. Yeah. So I use Justin and his stats, but also I used how he uses the mid-range.
Yes.
So we're fighting a losing battle when it comes to getting kids to take smart shots because they watch Steph and they watch Dame and they watch all these NBA players shoot from the other side of the court. And, shooting a mid-range in their eyes is not sexy.
Right.
To us as coaches, if you can pull up and get that sure 2 points, I'd rather have that than you heaving and chucking. See, even if you make one of those shots, that's not a consistent shot for you. Yeah. But if you're able to hit that elbow mid-range, come on, this Justin averaged 28 points a game, man.
Yeah.
I really don't know what his 3-point percentage is, but I know that he hit more mid-ranges than he hit 3-point.
I agree. I think you and I both shared the bench together, so we've talked about this often. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that long, deep ball can be demoralizing to your team when other players now want to try because you shot one. Yeah. And now you got 4 or 5 guys out there all just pulling up from 25 feet. Yeah. And you look up and you're down by 10 or 15 points and you're wondering why. Bad shot selection. Yes, but Justin Bailey is a testament of hard work, coachability. Kudos to, again, his head coach up there. And I know he worked out with the Shammond Williams Basketball Academy some in the offseason, man. And they really stressed how to get to your spots 15 feet and in and still be consistent like a layup. I mean, if more kids did it, more kids would have the success that Justin is having now. Yeah. Good luck to him down at Upstate next year. It's going to be a great get for him.
I don't know what we got to do, Coach, as teachers of the game to flip that back to where that mid-range is more important, like I said, I think unfortunately for us, we're fighting against YouTube, ESPN, Ball is Life, and all that stuff. But I do know that for those players like Justin who take that seriously, they're going to have success.
Yes.
Hitting a long shot, it's sexy. I'll give you another example, and this is just a true to life example. Caleb Bird, who went to Maulham. Hit that buzzer beater to take them to the upper state. but one good thing about Caleb is that he can score that mid-range as well.
Yeah.
So I think did you hear that feedback?
I didn't.
Okay, we're good. I just want to make sure. Listen, y'all know that we've had some technical difficulties.
Right.
We ain't trying to do that today.
No, we're
but
good.
Again, kudos to Coach Stevens, but also on the girls' side, one of our dear friends of the program, known her forever, Coach Janae Vicks and Christchurch girls. Somebody need to do a book about them over there because they get rings.
Right. Listen, they were getting rings before rings was popular. We were talking in the backstage. Janae Vicks and Tony Leopard were assistant coaches with my daughter. And we've had to take down all her trophies, man, because it just makes this house look too small. But, she had 4 state championships with J.O. Mann. And Janae Vicks was a part of that as an assistant coach. And then her and Tony Leopard went back to a couple, and then they went over to Christchurch and started that run again with Bennett girls. And man, they've had a flock of talent at Christchurch, and Janae continues to develop and cultivate that talent, man. But isn't it just awesome to see some kids again that you and I have known since they were babies? And well, we're not going to say babies.
I'm going to give you a basketball history moment here, Coach. Coach Janae when she graduated from college. I was at Redemption, and I was doing the athletic program there. She came and she coached one of our church ball teams.
Wow.
So then after I left Redemption, she called me one day and said, "Hey, do you know anybody that would be interested in coaching JV girls?" I'm like, I think I would. I was like, "Where?" She said, "Here at Christchurch." So her and Tony Leopard gave me my first Greenville County coaching job.
Wow, I remember that.
Christchurch girls over there. We had Paula Piper. We had a whole bunch of girls. And this is funny. The year before I got there, I think that JV team went like 2 and whatever. That year, we went from 2 to whatever, and we only lost 4 games for the season.
Wow. Isn't that something?
Well, for those girls, we just needed to change the mentality for that JV team and that school, because at that time, a lot of those girls were playing basketball because their friend girls played.
Right.
You know, they didn't care about winning. They didn't, but hey, Coach, you can imagine a week of practice with me. I had all these blonde-haired girls, and and the thing about the girls over there, all of them had 2 names.
Yeah,
Agnes and Elizabeth Lewis. I was like, and so after a couple of weeks with me, it was a culture shock for them.
Yeah,
but it was one that they embraced, and once we started winning, they enjoyed that feeling. Some of those girls went on to play on some of those varsity championship teams with Christchurch, but Janae Vicks and Tony Leopard really started that program. But Janae, we got to have you on the program, talk to you a little bit.
That's right.
So we want to give you your flowers, right now, because what you're doing over there with that girls program is nothing less than remarkable. It just really is awesome. So again, kudos to Christchurch, Coach Janae Vicks, Blue Ridge Tigers, Coach Richie Stevens.
Yeah, and but since this is women's month.
Yes,
let's give a shout out to Coach Latrice Davis over at Legacy.
Yes,
they won their first national championship.
I saw that.
LaCheryl started that program 10 years ago, man, and they've been building it slowly and over time, and they finally got their first national prep school championship. So kudos to Coach Davis and RJ Booker and August and those girls, ladies over there and men over there.
When you talk about anything that's national, that means a whole bunch of teams that y'all were better than. So shout out to the Legacy Ladies program over there. That is totally incredible. And again, we want to definitely make sure that we shout them out. Coach, now that the high school season is over, we need to talk a little bit about some academics.
Yeah. Again, you and I wear the same hat when it comes down to this thing, man. And, no books, no ball. That's and Unfortunately, when the season ends, a lot of times kids relax and get in the summer mode, like everything's spring break. But they forget about some very important date. And coming up here soon, if you're a parent and you want to make sure your kid is prepared for college, one, you got to register for the clearinghouse, leaving his ninth grade year, going into his 10th grade year. But then you also have to prepare him for those standardized tests. And again, we're going to hit this a little later. I know COVID has changed a lot of things, and you're hearing rumors and rumblings that possibly there are schools that aren't going to take test scores anymore. Well, if your child is going to qualify for an academic scholarship, any academic money at all, those test scores are going to be paramount. So here are a couple of dates just to keep in mind, and we'll go over these in some times to come. But if your child wants to take the SACT, you had to register for the April test, which is on April 2nd. You had to register by February the 25th, and that date has passed us by. But June 11th is the next date after April the 2nd. And if you want your child to take it, you have to have them registered by no later than May 6th. I'll repeat that. If you want your child to take the ACT on June the 11th, school will be just out, but they'll still have some locations that they're taking it. Don't forget that May 6th date. If you're a scholar athlete, get that child registered, get them tested, and make sure they're preparing themselves the right way, because as we all know, 99% of all student scholar athletes will go professional in something other than the sport they're playing. So, although I would love for everybody to live the dream of playing professionally in the NBA or overseas and getting paid, the reality is it's only going to last a short period of time, and you're going to have that degree to make sure you can make a living for yourself when that ball stops bouncing.
I think you also said a very important thing to the parents, and that is, no matter what you've heard about them, some schools not taking test scores or whatever, let your athlete be prepared. Because the worst thing is that if they didn't take the test and then the school that's interested in them is taking test scores, and you say, oh, I thought y'all were not taking tests, and you don't have that available. It's one of those situations where it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and then you don't got it. Well, Coach Mike, you froze up on me.
We both did. We're back.
Okay. All right. Good. But so what I was just saying is that you just don't want to be in a bad situation where you haven't taken the test and you need it. Yeah. Because if a school contacts you and you haven't taken the test and there's no more tests available for this cycle, then you're out. Yeah. So go ahead and get prepared. Coach Mike is right. We're going to be doing some episodes on not only ACT, SAT. We're going to be doing some recruiting podcasts. Also teaching your kids how to handle their social media stuff in reference to recruiting. One of my pet peeves when I'm looking for an athlete online, whether it's for evaluation or something, I try to put in the name and it don't come up, and then I contact them and say, hey, what's your social media? And they be like, Big Daddy Swishy Swish 99 _, lemon tree drop. What? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing no Big Daddy Swishy Swish I'm not doing that. So we're going to give you some best practices on how to set up your social media so that a coach that's looking for you can identify you, but also identify your grad year. And that cuts down because, listen, a lot of coaches will click right over that other thing and they'll look for an athlete that they can find. That's so right. We're going to be doing a lot of that. We were talking a little bit backstage about how, Coach, how do you feel that the COVID year and also the transfer portal has altered and hurt recruiting?
That's a great topic and too lengthy to probably hit in just one, but let's get this conversation started. Mm-hmm. Two things that happened with COVID, and unfortunately it affected the high school kids the most, but all of us became different people post-COVID. Mm-hmm. We were different, whether we lost loved ones, whether close friends that we know lost, whether people lost their jobs, just the devastation to the nation, it changed us all eternally. So getting to know who we are post-COVID is probably the most important. Right. But then there were kids with expectations. There were kids that were seniors in that February month when the school shut down that weren't given an extra year like the college players were. Right. And because of that, Deion Sanders probably said it best. The transfer portals blew up. And even at the end of this first transfer portal season, there were thousands of players left that are still waiting and looking for homes. So college coaches are recruiting there first.
Right.
And on a football team that usually would have anywhere from 20 to 30 scholarships per year, he said they were only taking 2 or 3 high school kids because there were so many seasoned college players out there that they could pull from and build a team from there. So even if you look at there's a team that made a run in the NCAA tournament. They just lost the other night, and it was interesting because it'll come to me soon. But anyway, that this whole team was built of transfers. They had 8 players that were all in their rotation that were transfers, first-year players transferred from Power 5 schools. They were playing against Furman. And here they are, going after this title in the SoCon. And it was amazing, but that's the reality of it. So unfortunately, you and I are stuck with the task, and something that we enjoy is helping parents and helping scholar athletes navigate that murky water of the realities of, you may not get the offers you think you should.
Right.
But if a school is willing to give you money towards playing, I highly recommend you take the offers that's given.
Yep.
But waiting for this, I'm going to be honest with you. I wanted to play at Georgetown. I thought I was good enough. I wanted to play at the University of Maryland. But John Thompson and Lefty Driesell both told me to my face I would never play there. Did I get upset about it? Of course. Right. I was hurt.
Right.
But what I did is I used it as motivation. So when academically, and then Loyola was trying to reach a quota for minority students, so I had 2 things going for me. And then the third thing was I wasn't a bad basketball player, but, my better basketball was ahead of me. It wasn't in high school. I never even averaged double figures in high school. So, I wasn't like Justin. I mean, Justin, the whole 2022, man, this kid averaged over 30. Yeah, I wasn't that good. So, for kids that are stuck out there still hoping and waiting for these pie in the sky dream offers, make your dreams a reality by going to college free and then making that school everything that you ever dreamed of having.
Yeah, we had a conversation here in my house with a very big time local high school athlete who has a scholarship offer. Wasn't to the school that he particularly wanted, but I told him exactly what you said. Yeah. And it's that, number one, you take that offer, and especially with how fluid the transfer portal is now, you work your butt off and you make yourself desirable in the transfer portal, and then you can upgrade your situation. But what you don't do is that you don't discard this scholarship offer that you have already, and then at the end of the cycle, nothing comes. Right. So I do think that it's hurt a little bit, a lot, but it's also, once you get there, it can be helpful. I talked with one of our former players who's playing in North Carolina right now, and he's playing D2 ball, and he's trying to upgrade his situation through the transfer portal, put up some good numbers, and it has even grown some while he's been in college. So there's a lot of opportunities, and you're right. We're going to do a more in-depth broadcast about this. Also, folks out there, we'd like for you to send us any questions that you have in reference to AAU basketball, recruiting, training, or anything like that, that you would like for us to discuss or help you clear up any kind of questions about it. Coach Mike and I have a plethora of knowledge. You like that word, plethora?
SAT word.
SAT word. Bing, 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 bing. We have a plethora of knowledge. I also have a plethora of unuseful information floating around my head. That's just what it is. I'm sorry, man.
You know what I think, and I hope happens when this airs. Parents, if you have questions, or if you'd like to talk to us about your experiences with recruitment. I mean, Coach Stan is very experienced because he's had 2 Division I athletes in his own home, of which have gone on and graduated and got their degrees. But again, that whole recruitment process, it's good to talk about it with someone that's experienced it. And unfortunately, there are not a lot of high school coaches that have necessarily gone through that process unless they've had players that have gone through it. But it's also good to hear others' opinion, and then you can kind of weigh the information and make your own judgments there. But, this is a great topic of discussion, and hopefully we can get some young athletes that are transparent enough that will want to share with us, their recruitment process. Because another thing, when you're talking about social media, is a lot of kids or teams have limited their recruiting because of mismanaged social media.
Mm-hmm.
NCAA wise, Division I wise, they have departments now that's all they do. And when we were at Eastside, even when we were at Man together, we showed our kids. We had the guy come in and talk to him like, hey, my main job is to comb your social media, to come up with a fake account and trick you into saying something that will let us know your character when the coach is on around. Yeah. And there have been a number of high 4, 5, 3, 2, 1-star athletes that ended up, falling from grace because they couldn't behave themselves on social media. They couldn't control their content.
And the coaches don't want that liability, because right now with social media, whatever you do is going to be amplified, plus it's going to be out there forever. And a lot of these college coaches just don't want that liability. They just don't want that liability. So, so if you have any recruiting information questions or whatever, our email is versus2424@gmail.com. Again, that email address is versus, VERSUS, the podcast, 2424@gmail.com. Coach, it is National Women's Month, and we've got two great interviews. Yeah. Two great interviews. One of them is from a future superstar, this young lady. She's a middle school athlete at Woodmont Middle School. Her name is Dior Dumas. And Coach, Dior. She plays basketball. She runs track. She is a scholar, but she is somebody that is just a force to be reckoned with. And the other one, we talked about Coach Janae Vicks and her coaching acumen. We have an interview with Coach Nicole Hood from Greenville Tech Charter. Yes, the coach. And listen, that interview was really special to me. Yeah. I've known Coach Nicole since she was a baby.
Wow.
Yeah. Realistically, I've known her probably 6th grade on up.
Wow.
And she is the only athlete, boy or girl, that I know that has played varsity basketball since 7th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, man. She was the realest for deals. She was the real at Westside High. And you know what's funny is this, and we'll even get into this in her interview. She actually in the 7th grade started playing varsity basketball for T.O. Hanna. And then when she went to high school, she ended up going to Westside High School.
Oh, wow.
And Westside and Hanna are like Clemson and Carolina.
Right.
So she ended up playing for both schools, but she was a tremendous superstar, won Miss Basketball, and a whole bunch of things. And so we were really excited. You and her have a connection.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and outside, and I don't know if you're even thinking about what I'm thinking about. We talked to her about meeting Kobe. Meeting Kobe Bean Bryant. And so we know that you have worked a lot of his camps and have been able to breathe some of the same air that Kobe has breathed. And for that, I got to say, both of y'all, I'm jealous. But it was a really, it's a really good interview. Spent some really good time with her. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to run those interviews. And when we come back, we're going to find out what's on your feed. What's on your feed? So listen, you guys stay tuned. We're bringing you these interviews courtesy of the studentathleteshop.com. We have an awesome hoodie for Dior. And I think we may have something for Coach Nicole. Me and Coach Mike have been talking about some things that we've been working on. We may have something for Coach Nicole, but we're definitely going to get that hoodie out to Dior. And again, that's the studentathleteshop.com.
I love that name, Dior. I love that name.
Listen, she's a delightful lady. So we're going to go hear from them coming on up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Coach Stan with Versus the Podcast. And I'm really excited about this next interview that we're going to do. She is our very first young lady interview that we're going to do. And she's an outstanding athlete. And I know that you're going to be really interested in hearing a lot more about her. We have Miss Dior Dumas. How are you doing, young lady?
I'm doing great.
All right. We're not going to bother the folks with all the problems that we had getting us on, but we're on. Thank you so much for just taking out some time with me to speak with us here on Versus the Podcast. You are our very first young lady athlete, and I can't tell you how excited I am. I got to tell you, I've been watching you from behind the scenes. I'm friends with your dad, real good friends with your dad. We ride bikes together, but your mom posts a lot about all the stuff that you do athletically, and I am amazed. I really am amazed. I got a chance to see you play last night at in your playoffs for your basketball team, and I really love the intensity that you play with, but also just how hard you play. So let's do this. I need you to tell me a little bit about Miss Dior.
Okay. So my name is Dior. I'm in 8th grade. I go to Woodmont Middle. My friends they like to call me fashionable, smart, and athletic. Very athletic.
You are very athletic. That is a fact. Now tell me about the makeup of your family. Tell me how many brothers and sisters you have.
So I have 3 siblings, 2 brothers and 1 sister, and 2 parents.
Okay, two parents. That always works when we have two parents. Yeah. Well, good. Now, what got you into playing basketball?
So, I started basketball when I was in 4th or 5th grade to do as an alternate for the off season for track to keep me athletic.
Mhm. So, would you say that track is your first love?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's good. Now, speaking of track, I know that your father was a track athlete back in his day, right? Does he bore you with all those stories about how he used to long jump 80 feet? Does he give you all those stories back in the day? Yeah, back in my day, we used to run on cinders. We didn't have track. He is going to kill me. But so tell me, what events do you do in track and field?
So I do the 100 hurdles, 200, 400, 800, shot put, discus, long jump, high jump.
So you do everything.
Yes.
Now, just to share a little bit with you about myself, a lot of people think that I'm a really big basketball guy, which I am, but I'm even a bigger track guy. I have 3 children. All 3 of my children were track and field athletes. My daughter actually got a track scholarship to the University of Cincinnati, and they started out. Uh, 100, 200, long jump, triple jump, and hurdles, almost like yourself. And my youngest son, Shy, is one of the all-time leading triple jumpers in Clemson history. So I love track and field just as much as probably a little bit more than I like basketball. So I was really intrigued when I saw that you were a track and field athlete, and it sounds by what you just told me, you're probably going to be a multi athlete when you like. When my daughter was being recruited, they like athletes that can do a lot of different things because you can get a lot of points for them in track meets. So they'll have you as a multi athlete, and that's an awesome thing. Good deal. So now tell me about Woodmont Middle. You're an 8th grader, is that correct?
Yes.
Where are you going to be going to high school?
I'll be going to Woodmont Middle. Oh, high school.
Let's see. You'll be going to Woodmont High?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. Now, I'm gonna see if I can. I prepared a good slide here. 1 second, because I know someone that you know. Let's see. Da, da, da. Matter of fact, I know him really well, and he's one of my favorite guys. Let's see if I can get him up here. Okay. Do you know that guy right there?
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this and instead of watching it, I just pulled up a picture of Dior's middle school coach, Coach Gibson. And Coach Gibson and I are longtime friends. At one time, Coach Gibson coached AAU with me at SC Phenoms. Tell me about Coach Gibson.
So at first he may seem mean, but once you get to know him, he has a soft side.
Yes, he's a really good coach. And the one thing I can tell you, because I've had a couple of conversations with him recently, he loves you girls. He really does. Now he's hard on you sometimes, but that's a good thing. But he really speaks highly of how dedicated you are, but also how coachable you are. He talks about how coachable you are, and that's a really awesome thing. Um, do you have any funny Coach Gibson stories you want to tell me?
Um, Not something that can come to mind right now.
Does he ever do any funny things in practice or during games?
Yes.
Good deal. Now, you guys made it to the playoffs, and I saw the game there. It was a really hard fought game. What would you say are the things that you do best as a basketball athlete?
So the things that I do best
Hmm.
in basketball
Hmm.
or is that I always try to stay positive even in the worst case scenario. And I'm very observant of the court, so wherever the ball goes, my eyes goes as well. And I like to say that I'm very good at steals as well.
Ah, so you like this? You were very good playing defense, huh? Good stuff. Okay, now we have a segment of versus the podcast that's called this or that. So I'll ask you some questions, and you get to pick this or you get to pick that. Okay. Now, would you rather hit the winning bucket in a middle school championship game or break the national record in the long jump in track and field?
That's pretty hard.
Hmm.
I think I'll probably go with the national record for the long jump.
Okay, break the. Now, what is it? Now, what is your best event that you do?
Right now, I like to say that I'm doing better in the long jump.
Okay. Now, I know that in USA track and field, you're nationally ranked. You're in the top five. What event are you in the top five in?
Um, the pentathlon.
Ah, that's that multi stuff there. Ah, okay. Good stuff. All right. Now, our next this or that. Would you rather be an average player on a really, 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 really good team or a great player on a really, really, really bad team?
I'd rather be an average player on a really, 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 really good team.
Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. Now, if you had a chance to meet either one of these people, who would you pick? Okay. Uh, do you know who Marion Jones is? Okay. All right. Marion Jones or Don Staley?
Mm. Um, Don Staley.
Yes, the women's coach for USC. Okay. Very good. Now, this is our last this or that question. Would you rather beat your dad in bike riding or beat your brother in Jenga?
I'd rather beat my dad.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what though? The way that your dad rides, man, he's awesome. Now let's do this. I know that you are also known as a fashionista.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. Now we also have a segment of versus the podcast called this. I mean, I'm sorry. What's on your feet? So normally what I ask the athletes is to show me kind of what shoes they're wearing. But what I'll ask you is, what's your favorite pair of shoes that you own?
So my favorite pairs of shoes that I'm on right now are the Jordan ones, Shadows 2.0.
Do you have them near?
They're in my room right now.
Okay. All right. All right. So can you go get them so I can see them? I'll listen. I'll hold on. We've been working on this thing all night, so I can hold on.
Yeah.
And listen, while we're going to get your shoes. Let's talk about two people that are very, very important to you. Okay, I mentioned your dad, Jaja, and your mom, Miss Des. I know this, just like I said, I really am like a Facebook stalker. I know that your parents support and they love not only you, but all your siblings. They really support you a lot. Tell me, what does it mean to have the kind of parental support that you have?
I think that having two parents that to support me is enough already because other kids they don't have that type of support. So, I gotta take granted of what I have and I gotta be proud of it.
That is awesome. Which one of your parents is the worst screamer at games or track meets? I already know the answer, but I'm gonna see if you're gonna say it.
It's it's a close tie, but it's my dad.
Your dad? Now
Yes.
listen, your dad's like he's an official with USA Track and Field, so he like yells and stuff and like get your mark, slow down, hit the board.
No, that's in basketball, but for track,
Ah,
it's my mom.
your mom. Now, I would imagine that you probably don't get into trouble too much, but if you get into trouble, which one of your parents is the one that really gets on you?
My mom.
Ah, so your mom is the one that gets on you. Okay. Now, you have a older sister that's at the University of Houston. Tell me a little bit about her.
So Zari, my sister, she's very fast and she makes good food.
She's very fast, but she makes good food. That is awesome. You're right. She's real fast. She probably can run as fast as your dad can ride on his bike, would you say?
Yeah.
Now, having such a competitive household, do you think that that's been a good thing for you? Do you look at your sister or your siblings for maybe inspiration, or they try to motivate you to be the kind of athlete you are?
Yeah. I try to take competitiveness in a good way instead of a negative way
Okay.
because both people can both contribute to everybody's greatness.
Okay, good deal. Now, I also see that you play AAU for Tiger Elite. Is that Coach Fran?
Hmm.
I know Coach Fran. She's awesome. All right. Now, how does that work with your summer track schedule and your AAU basketball schedule?
So I do fall AAU
Okay.
basketball, and in the summer I do AAU track.
Track, I got you. So you mix it up, and because we're a family like you guys, we don't get to take many vacations. Our summer vacations usually revolve around where AAU nationals or USAT nationals are going to be, and I would imagine you guys are the same way. Now, are your mom and dad around?
Yes.
All right, can we get their beautiful faces on the screen?
Yeah.
Good. Let's see if we can get them behind you there so we can say hello.
Oh, I got the shoes.
You got the shoes. Let me see. Let's see what's on your feet. Now, tell me again, these are the Jordan 1s.
Shadow 2.0.
Shadow 2.0. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, she's holding up a pair of, they look like almost kind of powder blue and black. Is that right?
They're gray and black.
Gray? Okay, yes, I'm old. I can't see. I got cataracts or something. All right. All right. Now let's see if we can get your folks in the picture here. Hey, sir.
How you doing?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
Listen, I know that you are so proud of your daughter. Like I said, I've been watching her, and she is just incredible. I watched her last night on the court, and she gives. You hear coaches talk about give 100%. Hey, Mama.
Hi. How are you?
Doing?
Yay, doing very well.
Listen, your daughter is extremely awesome. She is. Is she now? Let me ask you this: does she get into devilment at the house?
Honestly, not too much. No, she's a pretty good girl.
Well, good for her. Well, I've been watching you guys on social media and posting and stuff, and so I got a chance to see her play live last night. And how would you say she gets her competitive edge or her athleticism? Where does she get that from?
The household that she has grown up in is quite competitive.
For sure.
So
I was that way as a young kid. I was very competitive, and I don't know. So I guess she gets it from both of us.
Okay, that's good. Now, in our household, we're competitive. This is what we do. If we're walking to the car, we don't want to be the last one to the car. Like my kids are now grown, but if they come here to the house, we compete to see who is the funniest. And they don't know I'm the king of Racha Cucamonga around here. So now, Jaja, I know that you were a track athlete. Miss Des, did you do any sports when you were younger?
In high school, I track also. So
okay, good. Okay. Now, Jaja, does she ride bikes? Do you ride bikes, Dior?
Yes.
Really? What kind of bike you got?
I have a mountain bike.
Did your dad build your bike for you?
Yes.
Yes, because he don't know this, but I'm going to be talking to him soon about building me a bike. John, I know that you're really proud of all your children. We did mention Zari, and also you have 2 sons. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I commend you all for the support and the love that you put in them. But evidently, you can see it right now. She is very well grounded, very well spoken. But ladies and gentlemen, don't let that fool you. I saw her knock a girl across the court last night for the ball. So it looks like, Dior, it looks like you will cut a person and then pray for healing. Is that right? Is that what you do? Is that what you do? Well, listen, again, thank you all for just allowing me some time to speak with Miss Dior. Miss Dior, I know your parents are proud of you, but I have to tell you that I too am I'm looking at you and just very proud to see the way, not only the way that you compete, but the way that you carry yourself. And I know that there's going to be nothing but great things, whether it's I didn't ask you this, so let me stop. What do you want to study when you go to college? Because sitting behind you, you've got 2 brainiac people right behind you. See, I know these things. There's a lot of brain matter behind you. What do you want to study when you go to school?
So I want to major in biotechnology.
See there. So you're just going, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, have you thought about, because I know you're an 8th grader, have you thought about where you may want to go to school?
I took some thought into it, but not as much.
Okay. All right. Well, I know that your parents are definitely going to guide you and help you with that choice. But again, I know that there's nothing but great things. You're destined for nothing but great things, and I can't wait just to continue to watch you and be one day I'll be old in a rocking chair, like I know her, I know. Listen, folks. Thank y'all so much for your time. Again, just thank you for just allowing me in your home. And Miss Dior, we're gonna have you on Tuesday night because Monday night is Valentine's Day, and I would imagine your daddy got something planned for your mom.
Riding bikes, most likely.
Ma'am? Oh no. He ain't riding no bike on Valentine's. Listen, y'all, thank you so much for your time again. Now, Dior, I just need you to hold tight. We're going to just talk to you guys backstage for just one moment, okay?
All right, we got a really special, super special guest for our episode today. We are going to interview Coach Nicole Hood. Currently, Coach Nicole is the girls' basketball coach over at Greenville Tech Charter. But as you're going to find out in this interview, she is the realest of deals. Trust me when I tell you. So we're going to talk with Coach Nicole Hood. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey.
Listen, first, before I do anything, I got to tell you how proud I am of you. You and I know I've known you for a long time, but I am just really proud of not only what you're doing with your family, but I'm watching how you're working with these girls, and it is awesome. How are you doing?
Thank you. Whew, finally get a little breather. I would love to be still playing right now.
I bet you would. They're going to find out. See, I'm going to tell you something. They don't. We also have a segment of up-and-comer people called "You Better Google Me." They better Google you. They don't know. They don't know, Coach.
But yeah,
Listen,
have a
as
little.
we get into that part, do you ever have any of your current players that try you?
Not necessarily my players, but my children.
Oh,
Definitely. I got to get the VHS out just to remember.
Well, I can imagine so. So listen, I've got a little slideshow thing going here that'll help us in our questions. I've known you, Coach, from way back. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Hood is one of I don't know any other player, I don't know, that played varsity since the 7th grade. Is that right, Coach Hood?
That is correct.
And I'm going to tell y'all something that's even a kicker. She started playing at T. Hanna. And if you guys know anything about T. Hanna West Side, that's like oil and water. That's almost like Clemson, Carolina.
Right.
So she, at the time, I guess when you were in the 7th grade, there was no, middle school team there where you were at, and they allowed you to play at Hanna. And then when you got into the 8th grade, you went to West Side. Is that right?
That is right. Started out, I was going to McCants Middle School at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, we was just doing intramurals, I think, before school or after school. And my brother was at T. Hanna. He was in senior year, I think it was. And then just by chance, heard via word of mouth that I could try out for the high school team. And I was like, try out for the high school team? That's great. I don't think I'm ready for this. Up going, and they put me up to the varsity instead of the JV, and that's where it began.
What got you into basketball, Coach?
My dad, who have known well, because like you said, you've known me since I was little. Starting.
I'm going to tell you, I got to tell you something. A lot of people, when I was down in, I used to coach down in Anderson, and a lot of people thought that Punkin was my biggest adversary. I always wanted to beat Roscoe. I could never do it, but that's who I wanted to beat. Rest in peace to your dad. But I got to tell you this: when I was new to Anderson at that point, so when I started, coaching around the rec center and stuff, I watched him, and not only was he a superb coach, but I watched how he cared about the kids that he coached and how he was immersed in the community. You know, you were a superstar. Even your brother Chavis played, and it would have been easy for him just to focus on you guys and say, "That's it. I don't care about nothing else." But that wasn't his heart. That's the guy that I wanted to beat down there in Anderson, and he used to whoop my tail. He used to whoop my tail. So, so your dad got you into it?
Absolutely. And it's amazing. I could just post a picture with it be on his birthday and just see so many comments of lives that he touched. And at that time, and a little one didn't really understand it. You know, I just the rec center with my dad. He's coaching the team here or taking pictures of a team there. Didn't really put it in perspective until I got older how much of an impact that he had on others growing up.
He left a legacy. And like I said, to me, the selflessness, and I know that you guys probably felt some of that growing up as a family, because I know that he had to give a lot of himself to other people, you know, and I watched him from afar, just like I said, just do tremendous things down there in the community. And like I said, I never got a dub over him, but I sure enough tried. And now also going along with your family, your brother, well, no, let me back up.
Yeah.
You and Shantara, my daughter, at the time in high school, were like the two big mucky mucks, you know. Y'all were like the two girls. You were the lady at Westside. She thought she was the lady at Hannah.
Correct.
And so you guys, you know, I followed you not only along with that, but your brother Chavis and my youngest son Shy were really good friends and competed against each other not only in rec ball, but Chavis went on to play for Westside and Shy to play at Malden. How was Chavis doing?
Chavis is doing well. He's living life in Orlando. He's not talking about us right now.
I hear you. Well, you know, tell me what was it like at Westside, knowing that you were that girl?
Well, I mean, at the time, I didn't really think about it like that because you have to think at the time around my freshman year, it was Nicole Gaines that I remember. Great player. Then of course we got the legend Sadia Roundtree. So that
I was going to ask you. Now let me ask you this: were you ever compared to her?
No.
Okay, because I'm going to tell you something. She was
in her own right. That could be like, no.
Listen. I used to patrol. I used to patrol the areas, and I could pull up and watch her on the basketball court.
Yeah.
And she didn't play with boys. She played with grown men.
Oh man, yeah.
And she was giving it to them.
Yeah. Every time I used to think about it being a pickup game, and my daddy would say, "Go on out there," and I'm like, I don't know. Go on out there. I think about her.
Yes, yes.
Man, sure.
That's right. Baby, hey, listen, Baby J and all of them can tell you that she got buckets.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, good. Now you said you really didn't think about it.
You think about it, you know, me being that girl or any of that at that time.
Right.
It was just pretty much learning from Coach William Roberts, who I love dearly.
Another legend. Legend.
Happy that Coach Jackie took over.
Yes. Another legend.
Another legend. And
yes.
To throw other names, we got Miss Lenora Hood, who would sometimes stop by practice and just to see both of them giving us a run for our money in practice.
Hey, listen, Coach Lenora Hood right now, she could lace up and get buckets. You heard me? She is a really dear friend. Now, I don't want to skip over this next person because I know that your mom is equally important to you. I watch you guys. Yeah, I watch you. Now,
player.
Well, I'm going to tell you something that you don't know.
Uh-oh.
I used to work with your mom on third shift at Electrolux for a little bit.
No.
Hey, put the refrigerator doors on.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I sure did. But your mom is awesome, and I know that she spends a lot of time with your grandkids, and I'm sure they can do no wrong when it comes to her.
Oh no, I'm like, we didn't get away. Why are y'all like that? I say y'all because you have grandkids.
Yes,
Like, we did
yes.
not get away with this. How are you letting them get away with it?
Listen, yeah, you're right, because not only does Shantara have children, but Stephen and them have children, and like my granddaughter Mia, my granddaughter could take my glasses and throw them out there in the road, and I'm good with it. Yeah. But she is. Just to have grandchildren. I was talking to someone the other day, and they said if you could skip the children and get right to the grandchildren, it'd be all right. Now, I mentioned about Googling you a few minutes ago. Let me tell the people a little bit about your high school situation. Yeah. Now, the first thing I'm going to lead with, to me, is the most important thing, because even though we really love athletics, you were an honor graduate.
Yep.
An honor graduate. And
Yeah.
see,
No choice with my parents. It was
that,
that where you are not going to play basketball.
there you go. And they didn't give that kind of stuff out. So you're right. Parents back then really understood that academics were really important.
Yeah.
But also you were 4-time all area. That's crazy. 3-time all region. That's crazy. 3-time all state. That's crazy. And then as a senior, you averaged 18.4, 9, and 6. What's up?
Wow.
What's up?
Wow, you took me back because I don't even remember that.
What's up? And I ain't finished though. 2002, you won Miss Basketball. Hmm?
Yeah.
And also that you won the 4A Player of the Year. I told y'all better Google her. She real. So you really did everything that you honestly could do in high school basketball, except now I think that you guys made it to the semifinals at Westside. Is that right?
He's correct. Got knocked
Okay.
by a good Lawrence team.
Yeah. That little picture that I have, it's like I think you dropped like 27 and y'all lost by 1 point. I didn't want to bring that up, but that's what. But you did everything you could do. So after that, you went to UT Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you played there 4 years. Now your senior year stats, you shot 38% from the field, 33% from the 3-point line,
Mhm.
70% from the free throw line. You also won SoCon conference title and 3 tourney titles.
Yeah.
Tell me about Tennessee.
I credit a lot of that to Coach Angela Crosby, who is an Anderson native, T.L. Hannah High standout.
Mm-hmm.
Her and Coach Moore recruited me at Westside. So I credit a lot to her. We still keep in touch to this day. I've always looked at her as one of my mentors in coaching. So thankful for that opportunity.
Yeah.
There was other schools at the time. I don't recall at the moment. Chattanooga was a great program.
That is awesome.
Fit to make an impact. So that's what we did.
Well, and I know you don't know this, but when you signed with UT Chattanooga, we were cheering for you, because Anderson is such a small community that when one person does well, it really reflects on the whole community. So whenever we see, she's going to do here, or and we really were cheering for you, because if you remember that class of kids, you guys had. You had Shantara, you had Nayoka Norman, who went to the University of North Carolina. You had Chiquita Martin, who went to USC. You had the Fant brothers. One of them went to went Alabama. So there were a lot of athletes that came out of that area, and a lot of mentors and coaches. I know you know Coach Brown, KB Brown.
KB, yeah.
Yeah, Coach KB and Coach Rod. I'm hoping.
A small stint of my high school year, and I realized, this is not for me. Then I stuck with football.
But you did what you do.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get Coach KB and Coach Rod on later on sometime. But so you went to the University of Chattanooga, and you had it. Now, how was it being Because that's kind of far from home. How was it being away from home like that?
It was an adjustment for sure. Because around that time was when my dad had got sick with his kidney failure.
Mm.
That was a big adjustment, just going from him being at every game and every practice to 4.5 hours away.
Yeah.
We played Furman and Wofford, so I knew the games here they could make. But he did, for the most part, make as many games as he could there. But it was quite an adjustment. But I had great teammates, and the college life was fun.
I bet. We get ready to talk about that. We get ready to talk about how fun it was.
College. Yeah.
So while you were at UT Chattanooga, you met Ricky Hood.
Yep.
A love and basketball situation.
Freshman year.
Freshman year. Oh. Tell me about the relationship and how that all kicked off.
Yeah, so it was just kind of strange. Christmas time was normally when everybody else, students, got to leave campus, and it's nothing but the athletes, the basketball players, because we still either had tournaments or practice. So the basketball teams were hanging out a lot, going to the bowling alley and movies and game nights. So we just kind of started talking in. We had a class together, but not really paid each other any attention. But just kind of happened over Christmas break. It was history.
Wow. So now you guys met there and got married. Tell me about your family.
Yeah, so we have 2 boys, 13 and 7, into basketball, of course, now. Ricky's actually from Mississippi. He has a sister, Whitney, who also played at Chattanooga. She went to Clemson.
Okay.
She ended up finishing at Chattanooga. And then his brother, Rodney, who's in the NBA now, went to Mississippi for a year and played at Duke, and then went on to the NBA.
Well, good. We're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about that a little bit now. After you graduated, though, you got into coaching a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah. So when I graduated,
you coached at Dawkins Middle School.
Yeah.
See, I do my research there.
Is one of the girls that I coached at the middle school just won the middle school championship at Dawkins this year.
How crazy! How crazy is that?
What a moment for me.
Yeah. So then you also coached at Dorman. You were there when you guys won the state championship. Is that right?
No.
No. Okay. So because when I was doing the research, I think you guys beat the #1 team in the state.
Yeah, we made it to the state and lost to Spring Valley when
the
was there.
Okay, good deal. Now the last job, it has a really special place in my heart when you were with the Mavericks, because I look at that picture and I see some of my girls.
Yes.
I see Davielle, Lucas, Michaela Green, Caitlin Constantine.
Yeah.
And you also had Kalia Shaw.
And I think about Khalil every time when I first took that job. I think back to when you hired me to run the summer camp, work as a camp counselor at reception. And Khalil, one of my students, or what you haven't, but it was just amazing to see the transition and turn around with her. But that team holds a special place in my heart for sure.
I got to tell you that I keep up with a lot of those players, and I know that but you really had a super impact on their lives. And yeah, you guys y'all won and y'all had a really good team, but your impact on their lives. Matter of fact, you and your husband both coached that team, right?
Mm-hmm.
The impact that you had on their lives, it really defines legacy. We talked about your dad's legacy, but we also just talked about how a girl that you coached on Dawkins now is a coach. And so as a coach, we understand that our entry into the lives of these athletes really has less to do about basketball than it does about life.
That's kind of been my motto since taking over my current team, which has always been our motto. My husband actually runs a travel organization back in Mississippi. And we've been doing that since 2015. And I think I kind of slacked off of it a little bit last year, let him handle it more, but he's the director over it. But all the way from age 8 and under up until high school, 11th graders.
That is
Had that
awesome.
many teams every year, and just to see the impact, the response from the parents. And our motto has always been, "It's bigger than basketball," and that's something I learned growing up playing basketball. To the coaches that made an impact, yourself made an impact in my life as well. That it's more than just on the court, to be able to have this relationship, us talking now. Have so many. Daviel Marche was
Yes.
the coach. We're in Atlanta last year. Can we stop by? And we went and had lunch, and it was just amazing. Over to the house. The boys remembered them. That feeling is unreal. To have that.
So you ended up, and you mentioned earlier about your brother-in-law. Your brother-in-law actually is a professional player.
Correct.
Plays for the Jazz. Now he started with the Jazz. Now where is he playing at this point?
He just got traded as of Thursday, I think, the deadline to the Clippers.
Yeah. Clippers, okay. Because I know he played with Utah. He played with Cleveland.
Yep.
He played Toronto.
Correct. And then from there to Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, yeah. And so your husband, kind of helped with that transition to the NBA life, and you were there with them. And as you can see, you listen. I look on your Facebook page, man. I'm like, hey, living your best life.
Experiences to
Yes.
Time is unreal.
Listen, there is a picture here we got to talk about.
Yeah.
You met Kobe.
Yes.
You met Kobe.
Went out on a limb, because normally at the games, when we would go to the game, that was in Utah. Normally when we go to the games, we see the opposing team players because we park in the same area as their bus. And Kobe always, of course, have a security guard. But at that particular time, it was a bunch of people lined up, and the security backing everybody behind the rope. But he was talking to somebody in our area, and he saw Rocky. He doesn't have it on now, the baby I'm holding. He actually had on a Kobe jersey. Has on some shoes that my oldest Ricky had, which was some purple and gold Air Force Ones.
Wow.
So and that stuck out to Kobe eye. He was like that jersey there, young fella, or something to that. And he said, but your jersey, I don't like. And he was pointing to my oldest, who's standing with him. But it was a jersey of Rodney. It was Rodney's jersey. And I said, well, hey, don't take it easy on him. His uncle plays with the Jazz. And he was like, who's your uncle? And I told him. And he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, how about a autograph or a picture? And he was like, anything for the kids.
Awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. So so he was nice as opposed to being
absolutely.
Oh man.
Just feel people's energies. Yes, you can feel energy.
That is awesome. Now I'm going to ask you this: out of all the places, all the stadiums and stuff that you've been, what's been your favorite place?
By far was one of the top pictures that you had was the All-Star. We went to Toronto.
Okay. So that was cool.
But that experience was that was when we was playing in the Rising Stars game. So we got a little bit of the backdoor pass access. Actually Michael Jordan's mansion party with him.
Wow.
So an overall.
Wow. So now you have been brought back to us.
Yeah.
And you are currently at Greenville Tech Charter.
Yeah.
Home of the Lady Warriors.
It was a great opportunity. I can't just put into words how thankful I am for the opportunity. Coach Shiley, who hired me, but for a quick moment, Coach Littlejohn, Ken Littlejohn was the previous coach. Actually the JV coach at the time at Hannah when I was in my 7th grade year. So just a full circle moment we had there. But he was just ready to step down from it. And Coach Shiley asked me, if I wanted that opportunity, and I said, no doubt.
They don't. I told you this I told you this before when we were talking about setting up this interview. Greenville Tech Charter has no clue of what they have in you as a coach. They're going to find out, and I think they found out a little bit this year because you've been able to turn that program around. But they really don't know what they're in for. They're in for a treat.
Yes, and I just want to kind of change the culture a little bit. They're mainly an academic school, but girls thoroughly enjoyed playing basketball this year, so that was just a good. They took it serious. It wasn't just something else that they were doing.
Right.
They just needed, come around and change it up a little bit, give a different perspective. So that's what I tried to bring.
And then once they get used to winning, once they get that under them, listen, I my very first high school coaching job in Greenville County was at Christ Church.
Oh.
Yeah, Christ Church with Janae Vicks and Tony Leopard. And I had the JV girls. And the year before I got there, I think they had only won 2 games. And private school is different than public school. I had 13 blonde-haired girls. And most of them didn't need basketball for whatever they were going to do. You know what I mean? So, and midway through the season, RJ, who is the AD where you're at, he was the AD where I was at. We played Blacksburg, and we went up to Blacksburg, and as we walk into the gym, everybody was looking at us, and so one of the girls said, "Coach, why is it every time we go into a gym, they be looking at us?" And this is what I had said. I'm being very transparent. I said, "Cause we white." And so we played them. We beat Blacksburg 60-24. I get back. Listen, I get back to the school, and RJ goes, "Coach, y'all had a pretty good game." I said, "Yeah, the girls played hard." He said, "Can you get them not to play so hard next time?" He said Blacksburg called them, and they were like, "Yo, what are you?" But what happened is that we had taught the girls how it felt to win and how it felt to compete, and that was something that you couldn't turn off. Man, and a lot of those girls went on to win state championships once they got to Coach Leopard and Coach Vicks. But you're right, changing that culture, or changing that atmosphere where you just get them accustomed to winning. We know that it's not all about the winning, but you gotta compete with the expectation to win.
Yes.
You're not going to win every game.
Not giving up.
That's right. That's exactly.
It was our second game that we won. Coach Shiley, the AD at the time, came into the locker room and said, Coach, that's the first win in 5 years. And I was like, what? I had no idea. And I was like, wow, no wonder everybody was just going crazy and cheering. But they felt that, and it was hard to go back, the whole season I'm pushing, like, we want to feel that feeling again. And by the end of the season, we were competing. We weren't giving up at halftime, no matter what the score was.
That's awesome.
I look forward to working with them this summer and what we're headed at in the future.
Well, we are super excited about having you back in this area. Now we're going to get to a part of our program where it's this or that. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you have to pick one, and it's this or that. So the first one goes, would you rather retire as a forgotten coach with a winning record, or a famous coach known to lose championships?
Oh, my God. She's got to be quick at it.
They don't get easier.
Famous coach known to lose championships.
Okay, famous coach known to lose championships. Okay. All right, check this out. Would you rather be a legendary coach or a legendary player?
think I will be a legendary coach.
Coach? Okay. Well, you're already a legendary player, so yeah. All right. Now this is a good one. I really want to hear this one. Would you rather have a shoe named after you or an award?
I'd rather have an award.
Rather have an award than a shoe?
Like a word,
Okay.
word can last a little bit longer.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. The next one is, would you rather meet your childhood sports idol today or play your sports idol in his or her prime? Who's your sports idol?
Mines go back to Lisa Leslie.
Ooh.
Haley now, so I would definitely say meet her now.
Yeah, because you don't. Yeah, listen, you were fire, but yeah. Now this is the last one. Would you rather take the winning shot to make your college team win a national championship, or draw up the winning play for your high school team to win their first state title?
High school team winning first state title.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. All right.
Assists to win championships, which is still in my book. That was a great pass for the game winner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's awesome.
And crowds going crazy, and you got 5 seconds, whatever it is, to win state. Just because I haven't experienced that. So,
that is funny.
We live in high school.
That is funny. Well, Coach, listen, we've gotten everything out of the way, and our very, very last segment is what's on your feet. Now, before you show me, folks, y'all don't know Coach Nicole's shoe game. See, Coach, I have over 220 pair of Adidas shoes. Yeah, I got a problem. You got to pray for me. But you got that fire. You got that fire.
I say got and had. Why? Because I had a 13-year-old wearing the same size shoes. But he's in the 12 now. They don't last to the brief from.
Good. All right, Coach. So tell me, what's on your feet?
What's on my feet are my custom Jordan ones.
Wow. Listen, if you're listening to us on Spotify, you can't see them. She's got some purple and black Air Force.
Favorite. And I've bedazzled them myself.
Whoa. Coach, you hurt me. Whoa. Oh, listen, that y'all, hey, that's fire right there. Coach Hood, again, I'm very proud of you. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. As always, if I can ever do anything, you let me know. I'm definitely going to be in the stands watching you sometimes, cheering and screaming. And tell your family I said hello. Tell Chavis that Shy Daddy said hello. Again, thank you so much for spending this time with us, Coach.
Thank you.
All right.
Man,
Wow.
I told you, Coach.
Wow. Amazing.
2 awesome young ladies. One is the future, one is the present, and the past, and everything else in between.
Yes.
Shout out to young Miss Dior Dumas from Woodmont Middle School and the legend,
That's right.
Coach Nicole Hood over at Greenville Tech Charter. I'm really just excited. I'm sure we both are, just to watch what she does over there in that program and just watch the success that she has. Again, we want to celebrate them for National Women's Month. And we also, again, want to give a shout out to our sponsor, the studentathleteshop.com. And now, Coach.
What you want?
You already know what I want. It's our time of the program.
Oh man!
Listen, y'all. I ain't gonna tell y'all. Coach Mike had to go to the closet. I'm not gonna tell y'all that he had to go to the closet. Look, I show you is what I had on my feet, but I'm not gonna tell you nothing.
Listen, man. You should have gave me a preview, boy. I was humbled. I was like, oh, I can't come out like that. Oh, the The Swish Life won't have me if I pull out what's on my feet. They're comfortable.
Yeah,
They're very versatile, but they're not for this competition. That's like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Those people are trying to blow me out the water.
Listen, y'all, for those of you guys that don't know, we're at the segment of our podcast where we ask what's on your feet. Coach Mike and I have an extensive, I don't even call it a shoe collection, but we just got a lot of shoes. And yeah, he's got all Nike. And of course, yeah, I'm rocking the stripes. So you want me to go first, Coach?
I want you to go first. First.
What's on my feet? And a lot of you guys may not remember. I have the John Wall 5 Deeps.
Ooh, look at
a lot of people don't remember that John Wall was with Adidas. These are the Wallways.
Wow.
Wallways.
Wow. Well, them things look like a sock right there, boy.
Yeah, and listen, they are a very comfortable shoe, but the Wallway 5 Deep. And for those of you that listen to us on Spotify, they are black with a neon pink sole, and they've got some orange and pink stitching, and they are a very comfortable shoe. But these are the, and it says on the back, just a kid from Raleigh.
Wow.
And these are the John Wall 5 Deep Wallways.
Wow. You went back on me, Coach.
Go ahead.
You went back on me. Hey, man, listen. It's AAU season, man. Yes. And, them South Carolina Celtics, boy, they coming out in them good old KDs, boy. When I own this, look. Wow. South Carolina Celtics. We're really the Carolina Celtics, and shout out to Milo Campbell and Shamon Williams, who created this organization. But we gotta be fresh when we come out here and play, man. So even old Coach got him a pair of shoes this year.
Oh, you killing him, Coach.
Yeah.
Y'all can't see that. They are like a Celtic green. They got some yellow in it. They got the Nike swoosh. Those are the KDs. Those are some beautiful shoes, man.
Yeah,
those are beautiful
shoes. Soft and comfortable.
So that's what's on your feet.
That's what's on my feet.
Good deal. Well, listen, Coach Mike, it's been awesome. We got some really good stuff coming up for you guys. So stay tuned. Make sure that you stay aware of what's going on. We got just some great stuff going on, but I'm glad we had this time to spend with you. Again, shout out to Dior Dumas, young Coach Nicole Hood, and also shout out to you, our Versus the Podcast listeners. We appreciate you all. Be sure to shoot us a line at versusthepodcast2424@gmail.com. If you got any recruiting, if you got questions about recruiting, AAU, training, or anything you want us to discuss that will help you and your family prepare your athlete for college sports. So, Coach Mike, as we always say, Coach Mike is frozen again. Or he's being very still. Coach Mike. I'm going to say it for him because it looked like he's frozen right quick. Peace, King. We're out.